Welcome to Everybody Moves, and these are some workouts you can do at home. I'm Kerry from Pilates. This is Leanne from Pilates, and Stanley, who's a sort of Pilates dog.
Absolutely.
We're going to do, it's a standing, gentle sort of workout, more Pilates inspired, with a sitting adaptations throughout. So you can be standing, you can be sitting, or you can move between the two sort of positions. We're going to use a very household object, so just a hand towel. And if you could roll it up like a big long sausage and then just drape it around your neck, it's got a little bit of effect whilst we have it here because we can feel it against our neck. But it's going to be doing some things for us as we get into this class. And in this class, there's going to be balance. There's going to be some all over sort of movement for the body and warm up, but also quite a bit for the hips today. It's quite small and subtle, but it's doing some deep things in there. It really gets things moving. And it's very nice for the lower back, especially if you have sacroiliac problems. So shall we get started?
Absolutely.
No music needed. We're just going to do this sort of bit of quiet, mindful exercise, really, this one. We're going to start off with our feet. I nearly always start with feet in classes. So we're going to wipe our feet, just like we've just come in, and just give them a little wipe on the floor. And you might be doing this. I've got like sports socks on, might be like Pilates-y sort of socks. Could have your shoes on, your trainers on. This just gets a bit of sensation going through your feet. So it's sort of rubbing them really, making them a little bit warmer. I don't know if Stanley's doing this.
No, I was just wondering how long he's going to stay because it adds a little bit of extra resistance.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like doing it with weights. And then place your feet down. And now we're going to move our toes. So you'll see our eyes will start going down because whenever I say move your toes, we tend to look at our feet. Work one foot, then the other. And it's just the toes coming up and down, pushing upwards. You might feel your socks stretching. You might feel if you've got shoes on, your toes just pushing up towards the top of your toe box. And if you feel that you can now look forwards as you're doing it and stand or sit a little taller, that's great. And then we're going to arrange our feet so that they are parallel. They may already be parallel, they may not. So just getting a little arrangement. If I look down, there's a gap big enough to put a paperback book between my feet. And if I was sitting, I mean, Stanley's doing some of the spacing there, but we tend to say 2 fists between the knees is about the right sort of space. Now, if you're standing, you just got to soften your knees a bit like your suspension has gone. We're going to place a hand on the belly and a hand on the back, especially if you're standing. If you're sitting, your bum, you could just wriggle onto the very sit bones of your bum. So you just have a little wriggle side to side until you can feel those bumpy bits on your underneath your bottom, and you can move a bit of bum out of the way if you need to. And you're sitting up quite tall. All right, from this position, we breathe in. And as we breathe out, we're just going to tip our pubic bone upwards, lift our belly muscles up and pulling back slightly and lengthen at the back. And Leanne's giving you this sort of side angle. When you do this seated, a lot of the feedback's through the seat of the chair. So it feels like you're rolling back off your sit bones. And either way we do it, you're getting this longer back and then the longer front. But the action's coming from the belly muscles, doesn't come from the bum squeezing, however tempting it is to squeeze the bum, and it is pretty tempting. And we'll do one more like that. And then ease off and just have a little wriggle side to side. From this position, now we'll grow a little taller. So we're growing taller sitting, growing taller standing. The towel's going to sort of come in a little bit here. Could you tap the back of your head, a bit like the place where the perfect ponytail will come out, and then give the bridge of your nose a little tap. Could be the bridge of your glasses, just a tiny sensation. And then we're going to slide both those sensations back. You might keep your fingers there for a moment, and then you can take them down. We've just invited our double chins in. Hello, hello, our favourite. And you might feel a little different at the back of the towel. You can feel the length of your neck against the towel. Arms close in, and then we're going to turn our heads just side to side. You don't need to go very far. This is just part of the warm-up. And then we take it back to the centre, and we're going to go on a circle. So this could be a really small circle just with the tip of your nose. I think Leanne's going to demonstrate that one. I tend to like a sort of side to side, and I feel the towel almost like a bit of support and feedback to my neck as I do it. And if you're doing a side to side or even pushing around in a full circle, it's like the top of your head is pushing some air away so the back of your neck doesn't drop.
It's also worth just thinking about breathing while you do this.
Oh, yeah. It's a very tempting place for people to hold their breath. And I always know when I say it in a class because everyone will go, oh, yeah, that's me. And then coming back to the centre. And now we're going to move our shoulders. So keep the towel there because, again, it's giving us just that little bit of feedback. And if you're seated, you can have your arms, just like Leanne's got, in like that, very supportive, especially if you've got shoulders that feel painful or unstable. The weight is sort of being supported by the legs. So keep it small, maybe one side and then the other side. And that gives you a chance to sort of assess. And, how's it feeling today? If it's a bit sore, keep it like that. And if it's okay, maybe you go both together. Maybe your arms come down by your side. I've even got somebody in class who regularly reaches for her weights because she really likes doing that. Again, your breath is your friend on this one, isn't it? Breathing in as we come forwards and up. Breathing out as we go round the back and you get that little squeeze of your shoulder blades towards your spine. And it's often when you realise it's a while since you've done these.
Just a note about tummies. So if you have got a belly, it's definitely worth allowing yourself to have some space for your tummy. So opening the legs a little bit wider is absolutely fine. Letting your tummy drop between your legs so it's not putting any pressure on your lungs or your heart.
And then you maximise your breath, in the way that's comfortable for you rather than fighting against bits of your body. Welcome it all in. Right, next we're going to take the elbows out to the side below the shoulder and just do a little sort of circle, little stir, or almost like a little swim. And then the other side the same. And again, we're sort of assessing how they feel today. So that's when you can start to think, okay, it feels okay, maybe I'll make this bigger. Or if it feels really clunky and a bit uncomfortable, keep it low. Could be even lower and really close to your sides and sort of brushing against your side. And I like doing one side and then the other because you get this bonus gentle rotation into the spine, and having our legs a bit wider here is nice as well. Always get a lot of knee clicks on this one though. And then we'll take this rotation that's just about to come in. And if you're standing, you can start to move your feet, let your arms sort of drift round, and you'll see Leanne's doing the seated version with the hands sliding up and down the thighs. It gives you a nice little functional twist. We all need this functional rotation. The place where you really need it is when you're sat on the loo and you turn and reach to the side for the loo roll, or getting out of the car as well. So even if you've got osteoporosis or osteopenia and things, spinal conditions that make rotation difficult, something really gentle like this, it's a really nice thing to do.
Do you feel free to close your eyes if you need to, if it makes you dizzy?
Nah. And also just because it's nice to close your eyes, I think, at these times. And then we're coming back to the front. We're going to bring our big towel sausages down to the floor, and they're going at our feet. And we're going to do a series of foot exercises. And these work your feet, and they just start to challenge your balance a little bit. So we're going to put one foot forward so that the toes are pushed up against the towel. The rest of your foot's on the floor. Let your toes sink into the towel. That's hard to say. And then lift your toes up and down. Now, my big toes, I can just get that big toe up. It's taking a fair bit of concentration, and I can see both our gazes down towards the toes. That's just where it needs to be at the moment. And you're trying to squish that towel a little bit and then lift up. And then we're going to swap feet. So most of your foot's on the floor, it's just the toes. And the toes are sort of wedged up. You might find that you can wedge a little bit more underneath and make it firmer if that's comfortable. You might need your towel quite flat because it's really difficult to get your toes to move, toe arthritis, for example.
It's also worth noting that if your toes aren't moving at all, imagined exercise is a wonderful thing and it has so many benefits. And we do it so much in Everybody Moves and Pilates. So it's worth even connecting with your brain and your toes by looking down and imagining the toes lifting. And in time, you might be able to create those pathways to actually start being able to lift them.
It's definitely one of those moves that need practice. And also your toes often don't do what you think they're going to do. So we're going to carry on doing some other exercises with the towel. So Leanne, if you move just a little bit closer to me, and then we're going to move our towels closer to our feet. Now, if you're standing, this becomes a bit more balancy. We're going to place both our feet on the towel, so in the center of our foot. And you could do this holding on one foot at a time. I'm going to go both. I might have to suddenly find you and see how this goes. And it does feel quite odd because there is pressure maybe in a place that you don't normally feel pressure. It's going right in the arches. Hopefully our toes are quite relaxed. And I'm looking down. Our toes are looking beautifully relaxed down here. Let's see how long that lasts. We're going to do it's called a short foot. Work one foot at a time because it's too much to think about both feet. Think about shortening one foot from the tip of your toes to your heel. And then relax. And try that same foot again. Now, sometimes when you do this, you have no idea if you're doing it right at all. It's one of those things where you're just not sure. If you're sitting, and possibly if you're standing, you can reach down your leg on the front of your shin, just to the side, and just can you feel a little flex in the muscles? And then a release as you shorten that foot, that little squeeze. You also might be feeling it in the arch of your foot, which is the bit we're actually working. But that's a really nice way to check because this exercise is not just for the feet, it's going up into the legs, into these muscles here as well. We'll work the other side. You could do this. I'm going to do it, a little balance work there with some support. And you might do this next to a wall or using anything that you use to help support you. How's it feel for your feet?
It's blissful.
It's good.
It feels like giving yourself a massage.
It is a sort of like internal massage, isn't it? And if you're prone to a lot of pronation and flat feet, it's a really good way to exercise the arches. And you're really working those muscles down there, ones that we don't normally think about because we're so busy thinking about like here and all this sort of thing. But the foot muscles, they're really important. Right, now we're going to do a little bit more balance on this one. So I'm going to put both feet back on. And again, you could have your hands somewhere to the side. I'll see if I need to reach for your leg. Check that your feet are still pointing forwards. If you're sitting, you could have your hands on your legs. You could have them on the sides of your chair or even on your chest. If you're standing, probably arms out because it's going to be a bit balancy. We're just going to give a little raise of our heels up and down. Now, when you do this, it does not need to be showy. Often people really want to go, oh, and go really high, but it just tends to push the ankles out to the side. And if your ankles have a bit of a tendency to do that, it's not really helping. We're trying to strengthen really gently here and sort of gradually. So just feel what it's like. I do find if you've got arthritis in the toes, sometimes this is more like a rocking movement because you can't put too much pressure through the front of your foot. So I'm just doing a little rocking here. Again, you might need some support for this one.
This is fantastic if you've got something like POTS. It's really great at strengthening your calf muscles and also pumping the blood around your body.
Getting that circulation, isn't it? It's like the extra heart using the calf muscles. And then we can come down and move back from our towel and place your hands in your hip crease here. Now, we can have our legs a little bit wider here. We're going to start sending our bum back if we're standing and our chest lowers down a little bit. And then we come up. If you're sitting, it's more like you're just coming a little bit forward. You can have your hands on your thighs or in this crease here. If you're standing, really think about your bum traveling backwards. It's a bit like if you're in the kitchen and there's a drawer and you just want to give it a little boop with your bottom. It's that sort of move. And what we're working towards is it's almost like a little squat. This is more of a hinge sort of movement, so that we're going to pick this towel up. So next time you go down, use one arm just to reach in the direction of the towel. Don't need to get it yet. And then the other one. Now we could start to push into our thighs to support us a little bit. So we're almost on squats here, a sort of hip hingey sort of squat.
If you've got osteoporosis, just be gentle and make sure you're keeping your hands on your thighs and you're hinging as opposed to curving your spine.
Yeah, it's definitely a straight spine for this one, isn't it? And then on this next one, if it feels okay, we're going to get the towel. If you've got a different way you want to get the towel, if you want to turn to the side and get the towel that way, go for it. So now the towel is going to become a prop for our upper body. So we're going to take this towel quite wide apart. Now our grip was quite wide apart. And we'll just lift it a little up and down. And now you're going just before, like when we've done other videos, we always talk about a range that you're comfortable for. So it might be you want to lift your arms higher. It might be that your arms are happy staying lower. So just think about what's working for you today.
This is a classic. If you've got hypermobility or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, where we might hyperextend our elbows. So just double check you're not locking your elbows, you're keeping them nice and soft as you do this. And you're also keeping your shoulders relaxed. Because often if we've got really stiff shoulders, we will be lifting our shoulders up instead of our arms.
Absolutely. It can help as well, because Leanne's got her arms bare here. Think of those little elbow smiles just facing each other, those little elbow creases. That's a really nice thing to sort of look at. And a bit of tension on the towel, but we're not trying to rip it apart. Next time we go up somewhere, wherever you're going to go, keep it there, keep that tension. Now keep your bum down and your feet down. We're going to go a little side to side. It's a bit like we've got a scarf and we're at a football match, and we're just doing a little side to side stretch. And then come back to the center, bring it down, take it down and relax. Right, now we're going to do something different with the towels. We're going to put them into a different shape. So we're going to fold them up into either a rectangle to go under your foot or a sort of another little cushion pad to go under one butt. So choose whichever side you like. So Leanne's gone for her left. I'm going to go for my left. And I'm going to stand on mine. Leanne's sat on one side, so we're both a bit wonky. Mm-hmm. So just have a little sway, and if your legs need to be wider, we're going to sort of end up swaying. Should we go side to side like that? Like on a boat. And just see what it's like as you shift from one to the other. We're starting to work into the hips now. Now I want you to take your weight over to the side with the towel. So my foot's right in the center, just like the previous exercise, if you needed a bit of support. So I could touch this wall, or I could be using a chair, could have my arms out. We're just going to lean into the side where the towel is, and we're trying to get our hips sort of level. Now in the chair, it's lifting up a little bit, and you'll feel like you need to sink back down again. If you're doing this standing, I often think if I can see myself, I try and get this part of my top level rather than looking like this and going, that's coming in a moment. So just getting it fairly level, and then we'll come off it and just have a little wriggle. Harder to come off it on the chair. Just have a little wiggle and sink to the side. And then we're going to go back on it again. And now we're going over to that side again. Keep it fairly level. And then this free side is going to do a little wiggle up and down. Now you could do this with your foot on the floor, and you can see I'm getting a little movement in my foot. But actually, if you could stand on one leg and do it, and move it up and down like that. And this time the hip's getting this whole wiggle up and down. It's like it's going up towards your armpit. It's a very sexy place, I think.
I can really feel it working deep in my hips and deep here as well. It's really good.
So come off your towel and give me belly dancing hips or hula hoop hips. And you can take it round in both directions. And sometimes you might feel, I often feel I need to just wiggle my bum, get my legs a bit straighter. It's one of these love-hate sort of moves, this one. It's so good, but yeah, you don't need many. It gives high value.
Yeah, high value. Oh, I like that.
We're going to do the other side. So swap to the other side, other foot, other butt. And we're doing that sway again. And just shifting the weight side to side, feeling that unevenness, working the hips, working the balance. And then we'll stay on that side. Just keep the hips as level as we can. And if you need to come off and come back, you can do. Just listening to how it feels, paying attention. And then we're going to do the wiggly hip hitch. So we're leaning onto the towel now, and we're just going to give this hip a little wriggle towards the armpit. It's our best move, this one. And if you're feeling, like you could balance, let's see if I can get the balance. This leg's bent, but this hip's going on this little seesaw up and down. Oh, I'm coming up to the last one. I don't know about you, Leanne.
Yeah.
You don't
That
want
was
this
a
one.
lot, yeah.
And now we go back to that belly dancing, hula hooping, and the towel can come out. And then we're going to pick the towel up again. We can do it the same way as before. We can go for that hip hinge, support on the thigh, and grab our towel again. Now we're going to more of a squat move. So we warm the hips up. They're going to be even better at doing this forwards and backwards. A bit more into the legs. There's some balance going on. Different things we can do with this towel. You can keep yours like that, actually. That would be good. I think I'm going to hold mine a little bit closer in, but a bit of tension on it. And we're going to do that same sort of hip hinge, turning the feet out slightly, maybe your legs comfortable width apart. Send the bum back, send the towel a little forwards, and then come up. Now, if it's comfortable to, you can send your knees over your feet. If you're sitting, you can bring your heels just back slightly so they're a little bit under your knees, and it may be even more than that, depends how your knees feel. And then we just go out. And this is a bit like you're lowering down. I don't want to bring toilets into it again or lose. But it's like you've gone to a loo somewhere and it's a little bit lower than you think. So we're just going nice and low and then coming back up again. And when you do come back up, you might want to spend a moment just sitting upright, maybe giving your shoulders a roll, just feeling nice and upright again before we go for another one. Now, this next one, we're going to go slow on this sort of lowering bit. So we offer our towel forwards, slow, hold it there, and then we're going to come up a bit faster. Now, this is where we get more bang for our buck on this nice slow lower and this faster up. And we don't have to do so many. So it's a win-win. So we'll go again. Slow, slow, slow. And then up. You could even have your towel almost like you're offering it to somebody. Slow, slow, slow. And then up. And last one. Let's make this even slower. We're going to hold it, hold it, hold it. Ooh. Push into your feet to come up. Oh, it's a thigh wobbler.
That is so good for strengthening the legs, ready for sit to stand as well. I love it.
It really is. It's so good for your knees because you're strengthening the muscles above the knees, around the knees. So it's just really helpful if your knees are cranky, and so many people's knees are cranky. They're such a common issue. If you're seated, maybe higher up. If you're standing, it's going to be your thighs. But comfortable width apart. For your legs, you just want to feel that you're balanced. And you might want to take your hands almost to the ends of the towel. And then we're just going to push our chest forward and give our shoulders a little wriggle and then let it go. And this is a bit like those air things, those airmen that you see sort of out somewhere showing a garage or something. They're all like, whoa, whoa, and then they go all floppy. So it's a little bit like that. I thought you were. I could see from your face. So we'll pull back and we'll be all out and proud. And then we just go all floppy, like the air's gone out of us. And then we go back. And this is like sort of good posture. And this is like, the bad posture. But there's no such thing. It's just like moving and in lots of different positions. So we're just opening out and then letting go.
I like the letting go part.
Yeah. And open out and let go. And then the towel is done. We'll move that out of the way of our feet. And now we're going to make big shapes. So big shapes is just like stretching out. It's a bit like what we've already done, but without the tension from the towel. And just make a big sort of star shape. And then let it go and have a bit of wriggle. Maybe you sort of shake and wriggle inside your clothes, inside your top, inside your bottoms, depends how tight they are. And then we can make a big shape again. It's like you want to take up space. You're not coming and sitting next to me on this train. This is all mine. This is all mine. And then let it go. And then one more. That's it. And let it go. And then a little warm down, we're just going to roll our shoulders again, hopefully a little looser than before. And we'll give our wrists a little circle, gentle sort of fists. Always get lots of clunks with this one, always.
And remembering if you're hypermobile, just to keep things a bit smaller, not to your biggest range.
Yeah, because it's the warm down, we're not maxing out for anything. We're going to do feet next, so you may want a bit of balance support here. Just lifting the foot enough off the floor that you can circle the ankle. And if you can't get a circle, an arc, half a shape, just any sort of movement you can get. Sometimes it helps to actually think about writing a particular letter or a word. Could be a favourite word, could be a naughty word, you know. Anything that motivates you.
Pilates.
Everybody moves. Now that's a really long one to do. I'll let you do that one. And then we'll do the other side.
So you'll see I'm keeping my ankle low because I've decided it's far too hard at the moment to lift my leg.
And then we'll put both feet down, and we're going to finish with our usual Pilates closing move, taking your palms out to the side, scooping up the air, bringing your hands together into your heart in honour of your body, and all it's just done for you. Worked your hips, you've worked your legs, you've done some balance. We have mobilised all through the upper body as well, a little bit of rotation, bit of everything. Well done, everybody.
And don't forget, you can click the link in the bio to check for more videos from us. You will see walk fit at some point and a bed class too.